Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of talking. I was listening to Hank Williams music yesterday because I saw something about the song "Straight as the Gate and Narrow is the Way," which I always liked that song, but afterwards it played "I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry," and he's talking before he starts singing that song, and he said that I hope that you don't ever have to go through suffering like we do. And then um, he talks about it like me sounding like it's a repetitive, recurring thing with whoever this beautiful woman that he's in a relationship with is. And then I started listening to the lyrics of that song, and him singing about she'll do me, she'll do you, and everything like that, and um, that catchy rhythm did not sound good anymore. It gave me this bad feeling of what a humiliating circumstance they were putting themselves in with this, like, because when I was introduced to all those kinds of songs when I was a very young person, I didn't have the ability to hear things like I do now. And it's like sometimes when it like sinks into you what you think is actually occurring now because of what I've had to experience with this music with Ren and everything, that seemed like he was taking something personal from me and turning that into music, and but transforming it in some kind of way. I felt that kind of sensation of feeling just like I sort of a humiliation experience, but also like wondering if there actually was a woman that Hank Williams was singing about, or was it some circumstance like I had to go through with Ren where I never even have met Ren before in person. But then he has this access to me doing these things, and it's just like it started working on my mind about I wonder how this is happening, because there were several songs like that Ren did that really embarrassed me big time. And there are other songs where I was upset because I was like, you need to be telling the truth and be careful about what you're singing out into the world. And not sure if my emotions were being taken from me and made a performance out of, and if you really had any feelings for me. And I've been kind of thinking about that all day. I just like, I will, if I start to question the reality of what is going on with, I mean, whatever you want to call it, these exercises, I feel severed from it in some way. It's no longer anything that I feel attached to, it's just something that I'm thinking about. I guess that's what I was trying to describe yesterday. There's like, it's not painful to, I mean, I can get, into where I have these hopeful feelings that I think are inspiring me to be in love. But then when I separate myself from that, I just kind of try and think about what actually is occurring. It's a totally different feeling. It's like, it's not like a devastation that you've broken up with somebody. It's just like, wait a minute, I'm not exactly sure that I am accurate about all these things that I have thought. I'm not exactly sure about what is going on. Not sure if this is what I want. All these kinds of thoughts will come up to me and in my mind, and I saw briefly a few things going on at the Boomtown concert, and I just had the sensation that whatever I felt attached to before, it wasn't mine anymore. And I did get that feeling that whatever I had that I wanted so bad was cleaned out and taken away from me, and it's like gone out into the ocean like with the tide, with how I saw this crowd and all these decorations, and it wasn't important to me. It was just something I just don't want anything to do with. And that's kind of how it feels like. It was just pulled, all these things were pulled away from me, went out into this crowd with Ren, and I don't want it back. It's kind of like whatever wave might come back to me, it's not going to be any of that stuff, because that's stuff that I didn't care like to keep. It wasn't me anymore. And when there's a complete difference when you're caught up in a hopeful future that you're trying to get to, or that you've had memories that do not feel like yourself anymore. You can see that I have a peeling face already. It's brown in spots. It's like scratch it. Anyway, distraction. But that's how it feels. It's like I don't even want to try and analyze what's going to happen with this crowd of people or whatever they're doing. I just don't want to be a part of it. And I don't want to have anything to do with the decorations. I don't know how my involvement in it even matters anymore. It's like something that, like, if you're not trying to hold on to things that are no longer applicable to yourself, I really don't see how you can be emotionally connected to that. And as far as like this whole idea about relationship potential, I've described it so many times before. If it stays as potential and you're always thinking that you're going to get there later, you do have the insight at the same time that it's not really here today in some way. Like, it's like, I have today. That is all I have. I can't be somewhere in the future, and if it's not occurring today, it's not really a relationship that's actually happening. Because you can't, like, I've told myself that so many times with thinking about the future. Anything that is ever going to come to bloom today is going to be based on yesterday. Whatever actions that you took yesterday or the day before that you've built off of. It's not going to be based upon what you're hoping for, because you can't you can't. How do you base anything action oriented on a hope of something that you can't take action about? Okay? There's like, it's just not the way that I think. It doesn't work for me. Anything that makes sense to me is like gonna have steps of actions that I can take today, and how am I gonna get there? I can do that thinking about a career. I can do that thinking about the kinds of things that I would like to do as a person with a family. I can think of anything like that. I can think of action oriented things that are good to know, and that's easy for me to understand. It is not easy for me to understand how you pray for something and you ask for it, which has to do with anything outside of yourself, if those things have not happened yet. It's like, okay, is it even possible for it to happen? or like I don't completely understand it. Now, as far as how this relates to a biblical context and like thoughts of, casting out the devil or getting rid of the Antichrist or any of those ideas, I've already discussed all that a long time ago. That if you have like a double-minded kind of thing going on inside of your head about what a man would want and what would you want, you have to reconcile that within yourself because they're both your creation. Now, as far as meeting somebody, as I did through Rin, where that completely, I don't, it's mind-boggling to me about all of that. I don't know how you can reconcile something about how a person is or how you're going to be with them if you're not anywhere close to them. And you can't believe somebody if you don't see proof of, steps that are required that would make sense for a relationship to be progressing. It's like the same thing that I try to discuss about, okay, I want to be in agriculture. I can take steps to figure out how to do that each day, as I do with my backyard. That's easy to understand. Well, if I was in a relationship that was going anywhere, there would be daily steps that would show that there was progress of us getting somewhere closer with each other. It wouldn't just be all about a performance for other people or making artistic creations. It's like I don't know how I can transfer one thing to another. It's as much as you would like something to become true, trying to take some story that is not your story, such as a biblical story, and make it about yourself as if these things are going to happen because it was written before. Well, it's just I don't understand how that could be true. I really don't. There will be like as things progress, I'm sure that I might get more understanding about how all of these things work, because I always do. But it just logically I cannot wrap my head around this entire situation. It's like something got cut today, okay? As if, like, I looked up what deliverance and endurance were yesterday, and it said that in Psalms it talks about being delivered from the wicked. Okay, so you're constantly delivered from wicked things, as long as you know that it's wicked and you are making sure that that's not something that you do. But because if you don't do it, it's not going to be in your life. Severed. So I don't know how that exactly relates to an umbilical cord, but like I can feel it. Like there's something that has changed. I can feel it in the atmosphere, and I can feel it within myself. Something just completely changed in a huge way today. I feel completely different and very down to earth. And I don't know what's going to happen next. I do not. But it's very noticeable. Very noticeable. We'll see what I can keep thinking about. But as far as the talk goes, I am seriously questioning all of these. I am seriously questioning thinking that there is any relationship at all that is going to happen. And that's based on evidence and the way that I feel repelled. Okay? I feel repelled by what I've seen. So that makes it hard to want to hold on to it. To experience something as aversive or repellent really makes your mind be like, well, if I'm feeling that way, it does not make sense that I would want to be considering that as something that is good for myself. So that's it.